This week on HBO's Inside the NFL. We're on the road in Green Bay, Wisconsin to visit the defending Super Bowl champion Packers. Joining us will be quarterback Brett Favre, defensive end Reggie White, and head coach Mike Holmgren. We look at the inspirational comeback of Packers wide receiver Robert Brooks. And we take you back to an unknown hero from the famous 1967 Ice Bowl game. Not-so-frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. It's the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL. With your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Bonaconti, Chris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first road show of the season. Of course, we are at Lambeau Field, and next week, Lambeau Field will be celebrating its 40th anniversary. And gentlemen, if we're going to come here, now's the time of year to do it.
Not December.
You are absolutely right. You know, it was back in 1986 that Inside the NFL started taking our shows on the road. This is our 61st road show, our 27th city, but this is the first, Nick. The first time we've been in the home of the famous Cheeseheads and Lambeau Leapers in the city they call Titletown, USA. We'll be featuring the Green Bay Packers, and I would like your thoughts on this place.
Well, Lenny, I got some fond memories right here at this. I won my first game as a head coach in the National Football League, and after the game, they had to put up a fence, so our team had to come through that fence. The fans were screaming, throwing, hollering things out.
Not at your team.
Not at the team?
At you.
Just me.
Yeah. I've played against your teams before. I know how that works.
One of my great regrets, 15 years in the NFL, never played here at Lambeau Field. But you know something? I had to sneak in here today. There's a Ray Nitschke, that great linebacker who played here in the Packers in the 60s and 70s, knew another linebacker was here, especially a Dolphin. He threw me over the top.
I would like to see that.
Me too.
Would you like
I'd
to
like
see
to
that?
see
No, I wouldn't want to be here because he throws quarterbacks over the top as well. You know, these fans are really avid. They're talking repeat. The players at one stage, they were dreaming of an undefeated season. That lasted 1 week until the Eagles beat them, but it's been anything but smooth sailing for this Packer team. Last week against the Vikings, the defense fell apart and they almost blew a 31-7 lead.
Okay, the Packers have had injuries and they've had some problems, but this is a quarterback-driven football team. As long as Favre is healthy, they'll be good and they have a chance to repeat. But what they did in the offseason, one big mistake. They let Desmond Howard get away. He not only won playoff games, he's the guy that won the Super Bowl. They let him go for a few dollars.
Hey, listen, I picked the Packers to win this year's Super Bowl, and I'm not about to get off that bandwagon.
Oh.
But wait a minute, I'm less than impressed with this ball club after four games. They're 3-1, but their defense has not played well. Last week, Jake Reed and Chris Carter made mincemeat out of that secondary, and they got problems as they go on in the season.
Nick has that revolving door on the bandwagon. You know, you can get on, get off. It's nice how the whole thing
for a
works
lot
out.
of years.
You know, the one injury that they do have that really is a concern to me is Craig Newsome, their cornerback. Last year, this secondary, I thought, keyed the entire football team. They were able to get pressure because of the man-to-man coverage. And without Craig Newsome, they just don't seem to be the same. I think their run defense is going to be okay. Gilbert Brown will get healthy. I'm worried about that secondary, though.
This show is off to a great start. We already have a difference of opinion, like most of every other show. Now, we're going to be talking with Reggie White, Brett Favre, and head coach Mike Holmgren a little bit later. But first, let's see highlights of the Packers who played in the shrine that is Lambeau Field.
Blessed are the cheesemakers, for they too again will inherit the Super Bowl trophy.
There's only one place to play this game, one time to play that game. That's right here, right now. We got to show in front of the whole world what we can do today, all right? For four, on three. 1, 2, 3, for four.
At Lambeau Field, Robert Smith and the Vikings hope to win a crucial division game and also snap the Packers' 17-game home victory streak. Smith both rush for 132 yards as the Vikings build an early 7-0 lead.
Check down if you don't like it. You're not forcing anything.
Back goes Brett to throw. Here they come. He's picked up. They're going to the end zone. Freeman, touchdown. Antonio Freeman.
Behind Brett Favre, who broke Bart Starr's team record for career touchdown passes, the Packers scored 31 unanswered points.
Freeman, touchdown. On a perfect throw by Brett Favre.
It's showtime, baby. Showtime.
Let's keep bringing it, huh? Let's bring it all day. We'll bring it all day.
Trailing 31-7, the Vikings launched a furious rally behind Chris Carter.
Let's go, Smith. Keep toting the field, baby.
And Jake Reed.
Blue flag rolling, right fires for the end zone. Flag caught by Reed. A flag on the play and a touchdown by Jake Reed.
It's the NFL, baby. The NFL. All right, keep playing hard. Stay aggressive now. Go for the turnover. Let's get the turnover. Let's go. We got to finish our blocks. Finish our blocks. We got them going now. We got them wearing down. Come on, keep on them. They ain't used to a game like this now. They ain't used to it. Let's go. Round 7.
But the best right hand in this heavyweight fight belonged to Brett Favre.
End zone touchdown to the fifth touchdown pass of the day for Brett Favre.
The fortunes of this game swung back and forth like a pendulum.
Let's go Giant. Let's go Giant. Now, if they really double up to his side, let's go Giant with we'll go a 5 on the backside.
Back to the passes. Johnson who throws it deep for Jake Reed. Touchdown, Vikings. What a catch by Reed over Tyrone Williams.
Reed's magnificent catch made the score close, but there were no dry eyes at the finish for the Vikings.
A win is a win, baby. Take it any way we can get it. That's right.
In the NFL, mighty Titans collide each Sunday. Then there are the New Orleans Saints, who through 3 weeks had completely belly-flopped in battle. But the Saints finally picked themselves off the mat last Sunday.
Pitch it right to Bates. He's going to throw into the end zone, and it is. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. He did indeed. A 21-yard reception by Andre Hastings.
Mario Bates threw for a score and ran for 2 more as he gained a career-high 162 yards on the ground.
He's at the 45, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, still on his feet. He's going to score.
Even the NFL's lowest-rated passer, Heath Schuler, came up big as the Saints team that committed 19 turnovers in its first 3 games gave up none to the Lions. A week earlier, Mike Ditka had blown up at his team in a halftime tirade. While Ditka seemed more subdued last Sunday, folks were plenty animated in St. Louis. In a game where both offenses gave off the faint aroma of Pepe Le Pew, neither team could work the bugs out of their attack. Both offenses were knocked daffy. And the only touchdown came from a back who's not as porky as he used to be.
Ironhead fighting for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown. Craig Ironhead Hayward, his first touchdown of the season.
It may not have been pretty, but a win's a win. And that's all, folks.
From one of the oldest cathedrals in Green Bay to inside the locker rooms at Lambeau Field and another Green Bay institution, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. And Reggie, congratulations on finally getting that Super Bowl ring. But I've got to ask you, at age 35, are you ever surprised that offenses will go an entire game without running a single play in your direction?
Well, yeah, sometimes I am. You know, you like to make more plays, and I think the older you get, the more frustrating it gets sometimes. But you would hope that other guys make plays, and our guys have.
I was really kind of shocked at the way the defense played in the second half against Minnesota, giving up 25 points. I think there was only 2 games last year that you guys gave up 25 points. Is it just the injuries?
Well, no, I don't think it's just the injuries. I think it's the, you know, we we've been busting assignments more than we have in the past. And, you know, it's something you can't do in this league. You can't do it on a consistent basis. And, you know, we've had a lot of young guys that step in. And, you know, in some situations, some assignments were busted. But, you know, it's all on us. I think, you know, you have to always look at yourself first. And I know I can do things a little better. And I know other guys look at themselves and they know they can do things a little better. I think the good thing about it, the situation that we're going through is it's still early. And we have to find ways to start making plays and in particular getting the ball in our offense's hands.
Robert Smith last week, 132 yards, and a guy that can run it a little bit this week, and Barry Sanders, and on AstroTurf. How much of a concern is it?
It's a big concern. I mean, Barry's, he's the scariest player in the league. And, you know, people always ask, you know, well, what do you think about Detroit? And when you think about Detroit, you think about Barry Sanders and what he can do. And, you know, you look at the game they played last week, I mean, you know, when you got Barry Sanders, you can never look at a game that they may have lost because he can do some things that can open the game wide open.
There's a lot of conversation within this football team about the possibility of going undefeated before the year started. That obviously cannot happen now. But did this team come in a little overconfident for the season?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was a situation where that question was posed by the media. Do you guys possibly think that you can go 19-0? And the thing is, and I've told people that when you look at your schedule and you go down the schedule and you say, okay, we're going to win this and win it. Oh, we're going to lose this one. I mean, you should never go into the season thinking that we're going to win these games, but we're probably going to lose these games. And I think any team should always go into the season thinking they can go undefeated. You know, it hadn't happened in a long time, but that was just a question that was posed to us. And anything's possible, but of course right now it's not possible for us this year.
You're healthy, you're playing well, but how much longer for Reggie White?
I don't know, I'm taking a year at a time. And, you know, I mean, it's a lot that I want to do. It's a lot that I want to do with my family and in ministry. So I'm going to take it a year at a time.
Well, Reggie, congratulations, and thanks for taking some time to be with us.
You're welcome.
Lenny, back to you.
Last year, Reggie White and the Packers played Carolina in the NFC Championship game. Last year, Carolina at home, 8-0. They're in trouble this year. They're 0-2, and this week they'll be hosting a very improved 49er team.
Well, you talk about last year. Last year, I got to watch the Panthers physically and spiritually with the 49ers. I think the big reason, Kevin Green. This year, he's on the other side. I look for the 49ers to win this one.
Well, last week I saw the Carolina Panthers against the Chiefs, and they're in trouble then because their quarterback, Kerry Collins, threw 4 interceptions. If you get the heat on him, he will throw it up for grabs. I don't think Young will do that. Therefore, I'm picking San Francisco.
You know, just a couple of weeks ago, we had Steve Young in retirement, but it's amazing when you solidify the offensive line how healthy a quarterback can get. Derek Deese has now moved to offensive tackle. A new lease on life for Steve Young. I like the 49ers.
You like San Francisco. You like San Francisco. I like San Francisco. Well, once our viewers see the highlights of last week's Panthers-Chiefs game, they'll understand why we all like San Francisco to win this week.
Keep your eyes closed.
Outside Ericsson Stadium, the fans applied game faces, while inside, the head coaches applied psychology.
You know what this means to us, right? I want you to be defensive captain. You know what this means to us, right? Damn straight.
Look, we got every one of us. Let's every one of us take everything we got and let's put it on the field. One play at a time. Let's get after it. Let's go to work.
The grunt work was handled by the Kansas City offensive line, and Elvis Gerbach's labors were also productive. In the first quarter, Gerbach and Kimball Anders, number 38, combined for a 55-yard score. The outcome of the Chiefs' previous 2 victories had been decided in the final seconds, but they took complete command in Carolina, and much of the credit belonged to Gerbach.
Trucking, baby, keep on trucking.
You got to put some more heat on Elvis. Or it could be a long day. Bootleg to the right by Gerbach. Looking downfield, Fox after him. Now the throw, rising touchdown.
Last season, Carolina reflected a fresh approach to defense, but this unit didn't display any new wrinkles against the Chiefs. The Panthers, who had gone 9-0 at Ericsson Stadium during 1996, suffered their second home loss in as many games this season. In the process, they gave up the most points in team history.
Come on, baby, we got to get in there. Let's go.
Marcus Allen, the tailback, twice right side. Touchdown, Marcus Allen. Touchdown, Kansas City. Touchdown.
Kerry Collins was responsible for all 5 Panther turnovers.
Let's retire the offense for the rest of the day, man. They ain't done nothing.
Matters had long been settled when Collins and his favorite target, Wesley Walls, number 85, clicked for their only connection on a day that belonged to the Chiefs' opportunistic defense.
Let's go, T-Red. Make the way, baby. Let's go.
Chiefs lead at 28-7. Back to throw. Collins again in trouble. Fires it late. Intercepted by Mighty Mouse. There he goes. Up the right sideline. 40, 30. You can't forget about it. Mighty Mouse does it again.
Number 29, Mark McMillan, was the Mighty Mouse scurrying in the Panthers' house. A house whose foundation seems to have developed more than just a few cracks. Dan Reeves can't quite put his finger on why the Falcons are winless. He just knows that he always has to look up at the scoreboard to see how far behind his team is. Last Sunday, Steve Young and the 49ers saw to it that Atlanta wound up way, way behind.
Now rolls to his right. Throws way down the right side. Hurst is open at the 40. It's a foot race. He's to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. And they bring him down finally at around the...
When Young wasn't passing fancy, Terry Kirby was running wild. Number 41 rushed for 2 touchdowns. A Young passed for 336 yards, 287 of them in the first half. Although Jerry Rice has definitely missed, number 83 J.J. Stokes and Terrell Owens both continue to make substantial contributions to the Niners' offense.
Young throws across the middle. What a catch by Stokes for the defender right on him. Buchanan. He caught it right under the goal post. Steve Young sets up again. This time way down the left side. Owens is behind the defense. He's going to go. 10-5 touchdown 49ers.
While Rice won't be making any fingertip catches this season, the receiving tips he's offered Owens and Stokes are clearly much appreciated by his young apprentices. Tennessee has some imposing players, but they aren't quite ready to be considered larger than life just yet. Still, the Oilers had a few moments when they cut the Ravens down to size. Steve McNair provided his team with a 7-3 first-quarter lead when he fired a 36-yard scoring pass to Frank Wycheck, number 89. But after Wycheck scored, the day belonged to Vinny Testaverde, who teamed with receivers like Michael Jackson to exploit the AFC's worst pass defense. Testaverde threw for 3 touchdowns, including one to 5'7" Jermaine Lewis, number 84. Thanks to 3 straight victories, it's the Ravens, including the pint-sized Lewis, who seem a little larger than life. The first ever Monday night game in Jacksonville also marked the early return of quarterback Mark Brunell. With just a 44-day layoff after knee surgery, Brunell didn't miss a step as he made the Steelers' secondary seem as if they were covering on crutches by throwing for 306 yards. Trailing 17-7, the Steelers charged back behind the running of Jerome Bettis. Bettis gained 114 yards, 97 of which came in the second half, as he helped the Steelers get back in the game.
Cordell under center. Quick timing pattern for the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers!
Down by 2 points in the final minutes, Cordell Stewart brought his team within striking distance. And with 6 seconds left, the game came down to the final play for the 3rd straight Monday night.
There's the snap. It's low. The placement. The kick is blocked. It's blocked. The Jaguars have won it. The Jaguars have picked the ball up, racing down the sideline. There he goes. They're going to score. Chris Hudson picks up the block and races downfield. And the Jaguars have beaten the Steelers.
The Steelers will try to pick themselves up and move on to face Tennessee as the undefeated Jaguars take their winning ways to Washington.
Coming up on HBO's Inside the NFL.
Remember Bart Starr's touchdown in the Ice Bowl 30 years ago? We look back at the man who had the key block in that play, and it may surprise you.
As Inside the NFL's roadshow continues from Green Bay, Wisconsin, go Pack, go.
We're here with Brett Favre, who has milked the hearts of all the Packer fans. Great to have you with us, partner.
Good to be here, Coach.
Been a long time since we sat together.
Long time.
I got to ask you two things. You're MVP in the league. You go to the Super Bowl. You win the Super Bowl. Are you still mad at everybody in Atlanta for trading you?
No, you know, everyone asks me all the time about Atlanta, saying, God, they were stupid for doing that. I said, no, they wasn't. I didn't play. And you know as well as I do, Coach. I didn't play. I was a second-round pick for you guys. You got a first-round pick traded to you. And you said, well, this guy's never played for us. Maybe he can play, but who knows? So we'll trade him. So it worked out for, at that time for both sides.
Okay, there's a lot of legends in Green Bay, Wisconsin. One of them, Bart Starr. And last week, you break one of his Packer records. What went through your mind? Because I know you know Bart Starr. What went through your mind breaking that record?
Well, a couple of things. The first being that we throw the ball a lot more than Bart ever dreamed of throwing. And everyone said, well, it took him 16 years. Well, he never threw more than 250 passes in a season. I've completed more in a season over the last 6 years than he did. So, you know, the first of all was like a lot of respect for Bart. And if he'd have thrown the ball near as much as I did, then he would have broken it. And the second is that I've been around a long time, and it's also been a short period. It's kind of hard to explain. Only 6 years, and 7 if we count Atlanta, but 6 years of playing. And to accomplish as much as I have in such a short period of time is really amazing to me. I know a lot of people say, I can't believe you've done that. Well, to me, it's even more amazing because I never dreamed that all this stuff would happen, good and bad, in such a short period of time.
You've been totally honest with your off-field problems, painkillers, drinking, National Football League. What have you done to correct that, to make sure that never happens to Brett Favre again?
Well, I don't know if you ever can correct it. Coach, and people who've had problems like that would tell you that. You never forget about it. And the day you do forget about it is when it sneaks back up on you again. So I try to joke around about it. You know, I'll walk in the locker room and stuff and see our trainers and say, I'm a little sore today, I need some Vicodins. And a lot of people would say, well, that's kind of stupid. But really, it reminds me of what I went through years ago. And it'll be 2 years in February since I've taken a Vicodin and don't have any desire to do it again. But at least I think about it every day and also realize this game is tough, and that there will be injuries. I'm kidding myself if I think I can go through a career without really being hurt. And so I have to prepare myself for that when it happens.
I come here and able to call a game with the Packers playing, and I look in the stands, and there's a lot of kids wearing your jersey. Now you're married, your life changes, you're going to have your own family. What message would you like to give to all these kids in Wisconsin, and really all over the country, that wear your jersey?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank them because I never thought that when I was a little kid that someone would be wearing my jersey someday. It's like when I got Dan Marino's autograph when I was a little kid. I never thought 2 weeks ago I'd be playing against him here in Lambeau Field. But, you know, there's a couple of things. The kids, you know, ask me all the time, what did it take for you to become a quarterback? And, you know, all the things that kids ask. Basically is that I always dreamed. I told my daughter last night, and I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? She said, I really don't know. Used to be an archaeologist or something off the wall. And I said, well, I always wanted to be a pro football player. And she said, well, you see, dreams do come true.
Thanks for giving us your time. Fun visiting with you.
Good to see you, Coach. Thanks for having me.
Back to you, Lenny.
One thing we all know, Brett Favre is a leader of the Packers, and also Mark Brunell is the leader of Jacksonville. This week, Jacksonville travels to take on the Redskins.
Well, his knee may not be 100%, but his arm is alive and well. Now, if he could get Natron Means to run like a 250-pounder and hit the hole like Jerome Bettis, who knows how many points the Jags could score. But they will score enough to beat Washington. That's why I like them in this game.
You know, the Skins' defense under their new coordinator, Mike Nolan, is much improved, averaging 12 points per ball game. But Mark Brunell and that explosive offense, I like Jacksonville.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Washington Redskins, they're a running football team. Terry Allen is going to be healthier than he has been throughout the course of this season. He had the hand injury that gave him a problem. And John Yurkovich, without him in the lineup for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they simply could not stop the run. Jerome Bettis and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why I like Washington.
I knew we couldn't always agree on everything. You know, just like experts thought that Mark Brunell would never play again this year, there were many who predicted that Packers wide receiver Robert Brooks would never play again. Brian Burwell has the comeback story.
On the first play from scrimmage in Week 7 of last year's Packer championship season, Robert Brooks shredded his right knee blocking on an ordinary running play. But what followed that season-ending injury, the almost inexplicably quick recovery, was anything but ordinary.
I tore my patella tendon, my ACL, my medial collateral ligament, and then I tore cartilage on the outside. Then I also chipped off a big hunk of my bone. I was running at the Super Bowl. I started lifting and running, and I treated my off-season just as normal as any other off-season that I have had in the past. And I came into training camp in just as good a shape.
Pragmatics will give us several logical explanations for Robert Brooks' amazing recovery from that devastating knee injury. They talk about advancements in modern sports medicine, technology involved in sports rehabilitation. But Brooks believes there is only one reason why he's back out here doing the Lambeau Leap again at full speed, and that, he says, is a simple matter of faith.
From day one, it was that, look, God is going to heal me. God is going to bring me back faster than anybody can possibly bring me back. And, you know, when you're dealing with the supernatural and when divine intervention comes in, you know, God can manipulate anything, anybody on this little earth that he wants to. You know, I knew God had healed me. If somebody wants to doubt God, then I will allow them to doubt God, but I won't doubt God.
With all the damage done to Brooks' knee, team doctors hope the earliest they could have him back in action was by the middle of October. But Brooks recovered so fast, the coaching staff had to hold him back during minicamp and most of training camp. But by late August, Brooks was back on the field and hadn't lost a step. Or at least that's what he thought.
That don't show my breakaway speed.
Well, our numbers say that you lost a step.
What? It was cool. It was fun doing that commercial, and it's fun because I can make fun of myself, but I know I had lost a step though.
He said, God has healed me, and he said, I'm healed. And I think the first touchdown he had, he just got up and he pointed to his knee and to God, and that's the way he feels. And I think that's probably helped his rehab some.
Brett threw a bullet to the corner of the end zone.
They don't use that just for a man, so I proceeded to jump all in the stands, and now you see.
Before the commercial, Brooks' biggest claim to fame was as the Packer who was, if not the originator, certainly the one who popularized the Lambeau Leap.
Right before the '95 season, there was a lot of talk about, when Sterling had left, and I was like, hey, I got to do something crazy, man, just to get the fans on my side. So I was going to do just one time. I was going to jump all the way in the stands, get a flag. Coach Hunger was going to go nuts. And, at that point, I didn't care for a second, and I said I'd just do it once, and I'll pay the fine or whatever. Coach Hunger smiled, and the fans loved it. And the next thing you know, they want us to do it every week, and it's now it's like a tradition.
Back as the Packers' leading receiver, Brooks is inspiring fans again with those Lambeau Leaps, and he is also looking ahead, just happy to be back on the field.
I love jumping in the stands. I like to play with a smile on my face when I play. I like the competition. I like going out there and have to practice hard all week, and then finally, get to playing a game to release all that tension. And I love all that. That's just me, and that's the way I like it, and that's the way it's gonna be from now until I hang my cleats up.
Brooks said he had a dream about all of this: his injury, his recovery, and the Packers' Super Bowl season. And now he says there was much more to that vision. And if he's right, you can only hope that it includes a really nice ending for Robert Brooks.
Well, you usually don't get streets named after you unless you've accomplished something. Our next guest is a man who has accomplished something already here in Green Bay. He won a Super Bowl. He's the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Mike Holmgren. Mike, it's inevitable. Are the people up here nice to you by not comparing you with Vince Lombardi? But after winning 18 home games in a row, they must.
No, the comparisons are inevitable, Nick. I think any coach that has come in here and coached after Coach Lombardi, it was going to happen. And so what I chose to do when they hired me, I admired him so much. But I said, there's no way I can live up to what he did. I don't think any coach can. So I just try to do my thing and be the best coach I could be. And most people now, the comparisons are kind of drifting away now. I think we've kind of established our own thing.
Brett Favre says, this year here, I'm really not having as much fun as I did last year. Coach really has to loosen up. I mean, I thought winning was fun.
Yeah, no, winning is fun. I like the fact that he says, I have to loosen up. I don't agree with that. I talked to the team before the game last week, and I said, look, let's talk about this fun thing and what it means. I said, when we win, we have fun. When we lose, no one has fun.
You know, I love Brett Favre. I think Brett Favre is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen. I mean, he reminds me of a linebacker. But is he tough to control?
Not really. You know, what I would like him to do early in a ball game, I think he is like a linebacker in the first series. And as a result, the balls every once in a while take off just a little bit on him. And then he settles in, and he really played very well Sunday, as an example, after the first series. No, and he and I have come to an understanding that, you know, early on now, he was a wild stallion, and we had to kind of work through that a little bit because, but we understand each other now. We've been through some of very interesting times together, but he's really a great player, and he knows what I want, and we trust each other.
Well, Ron Wolf, the general manager, did offer you a contract extension. I know your contract, I think, runs through '99, but you turned it down. You turned down a lot of money also.
Well, it was a situation where my youngest daughter graduates from high school, and I really set up my last contract for that.
Wow.
And she's the last, I have 4 girls, and she's the last one at home. She graduates from high school in 2 years here. And I kind of set it up. At that time, Kathy and I are by ourselves, and who knows what happens. And I really want the Packers happy with me, and I want to be happy with my situation. So what I told Ron and Bob Harlan, I said, I hope if we continue to do well, that maybe we can talk about this again, maybe next year or the year after that. But I wasn't ready at that particular time to commit for that long.
Mike, I'm sure Vince Lombardi's looking down on you and saying you're doing a hell of a job. Congratulations on the Super Bowl last year, and good luck the rest of the way.
And I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you.
Back to you, Lenny.
It is said that a team responds to the mood of their head coach. Chris, that being the case, the Cincinnati Bengals should be fired up this week against the Jets. The Jets have the audacity to fire Bruce Costler.
And he didn't like that.
No, he didn't.
They also cut Jeff Blake and Boomer Esiason. They'll be ready.
But that's not the news. The real news in Cincinnati is Kajana Carter is injured. He's out for this football game. But Cincinnati Bengal fans, don't worry. His backup, Corey Dillon, is a better back. You can't arm tackle him. He'll rush that football, and he'll win the game for Cincinnati.
Cincinnati fans, don't be concerned because lately the New York Jets have been walking through raindrops. They can't be that lucky the year round. Last week, Oakland put up 500 yards offensively against them. Cincinnati can move the ball. They can score. I like Cincinnati.
Don't worry, Bengals fans.
Don't
From
worry.
you,
That's right.
Sam Weich and company will be very secure indeed. This is a game, though. Otis Smith in the secondary for the Jets really struggled a week ago. This week he gets Carl Pickens and Darnay Scotts. And then don't worry from a Jerry Glanville, I like Cincinnati.
But believe me, it will be
It'll
a
be
close
close.
game. Yes, because the New York Jets head into Cincinnati having played 3 straight nail-biters going right down to the finish. Last week, the Jets and Neil O'Donnell finally came out on top.
For the past decade or so, it seems the Jets have been walking in quicksand. Early on last Sunday, the Raiders were walking on air as they unleashed a jet of their own.
And he fires deep downfield, open out there, and is caught for a touchdown by James Jett. James Jett.
Oakland quarterback Jeff George again posted huge numbers, throwing for over 370 yards with 3 touchdowns. Up 22-16 late in the fourth quarter, the Raiders looked to put the game away.
Cole Ford has missed 2 field goal attempts today. He's also missed a PAT. The snapper, Aragoose, the hold. Good. Oh, again, a late snap. They blocked it at the line. It's picked up and running back with it. Midfield. The Jets are going to score a touchdown. Ray Mickens goes all the way. Unbelievable.
For the first time in years, fans can chant J-E-T-S, Jets, 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 and not have to immediately hang their heads. New York has proved that if they hang around long enough, they can find a way to win, as they evened their record at 2-2.
You a little scared? Yeah, you look a little scared.
Scared of what we're going to do to them other than...
Let's go. Set the tempo. Set the tempo.
Early on, the Bengals set the tempo. Elway's touchdown catch put Cincinnati ahead by 7, and the defense put the heat on John Elway.
You're getting a lot of pressure, aren't you? They're going to have to go to quicker passes, drag slants, sticks, those type things. Come on. Come on.
After Elway started taking quick 5-step drops and hitting his receivers on the slant, Denver finally started to move the ball.
Let's go pass 315 trap wide down.
Elway has never lost to the Bengals, and he led his team to 14 unanswered points in the second quarter.
Wide open, McCaffrey inside the 10, McCaffrey inside the 5, McCaffrey touchdown! John will roll right, looks right, fires in the end zone, pass caught, Rod Smith, touchdown!
In the third quarter, the Bengals ran their way back.
At the 35-40, 45-50, he's singing all the way. Gets on a Carter, some 79 yards, touchdown, Cincinnati!
Hey, guys, hey, just relax, would you? We're all right. Relax. Put some pressure on. Come on. Yeah! I think this is a touchdown. I really do.
Elway's third touchdown pass put the Broncos ahead 21-17.
Elway into the end zone, pass is caught. That's a touchdown, and that's Rod Smith again.
Great route. You see that route? Come on, baby, come on. Come on, hit it. Come on, man, come on. There you go.
TD for TD.
The Broncos defense finally put the game away. It's the Broncos' third 4-0 start in club history, and both other times they went on to the Super Bowl.
We had something happen today for the first time in club history. First guy over 200 yards, and obviously game ball for TD and the offensive line. First TD.
Against the defending AFC champions, the Bears were looking to avoid their first 0-4 start since 1969. Although they looked ferocious at times, Drew Bledsoe reduced these Bears to cubs as he threw his NFL-leading 11th and 12th touchdown passes. Curtis Martin put 70 yards of icing on the cake with a touchdown run.
It's a pitch to Martin to the right side, crossing the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, midfield 45, 30, 25, 20. Curtis goes down and in. Touchdown!
Looks like the Bears might be in the dumps, while New England improved to 4-0.
The National Railroad Museum here in Green Bay preserves and presents the history of railroading. Railroading is what Green Bay wants to do to their opponents in their division. They're in the midst of 4 games with division opponents. Last week they took care of the Vikes. This week, Chris, traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions.
And I think the Lions have a real opportunity here because of all the injuries in the secondary for the Packers. Craig Newsome already out for the season. Doug Evans hurting. Leroy Butler playing with one arm. Herman Moore and Johnny Morton will have an opportunity to do some things against that secondary if Scott Mitchell can get them the ball.
You talk about an opportunity to throw the football. You got to add, guess what? Detroit still has more athletes. They got David Sloan playing the tight end. Third year, coming off of last year's knee injury, as good a tight end as they're going to be in football. And you talk to Green Bay players, they're talking about Stephen Boyd, the middle linebacker for Detroit, every bit as good as Chris Spielman. They got athletes at Detroit.
Well, they got athletes, Jerry, but they better know what's happening this week, because Green Bay is going to put up an 8-man front. They can bring up the 2 safeties simply to stop Barry Sanders, because they just don't think Scott Mitchell can beat them through the air.
This is a team sport, ladies and gentlemen. I look at the both teams. Defensively, they're about even, both of them having problems. But who is the most explosive team between these two? The Green Bay Packers. Last week, 5 touchdown passes by Brett Favre. I like Green Bay.
And the real story is the Lions defense. They just simply cannot stop anybody. They couldn't stop Heath Schuler and Mario Bates of the Saints a week ago. And now Brett Favre and company coming to town. I like the Packers.
I think the real story is Scott Mitchell. And the quarterback in this league either gets too much credit or too much blame. But I was in Chicago, watched Scott Mitchell. Guess what? Great game. Looked like a big-time quarterback. Last week, 3 interceptions and a fumble. Which quarterback's going to show up? I got to go with Green Bay.
You know something? The Detroit players, to me, are very confused. They don't know whether they're fish nor fowl. I mean, they just have not bought into Bobby Ross's strategy, offensive strategy in particular, and until they do that, they won't win.
The old fish nor fowl team. We all like the Green Bay Packers. Well, as a matter of fact, Green Bay is favored to go back to the Super Bowl. But the other Bay, Tampa Bay, is the only undefeated team left in the NFC. Let's see how the Bucks ran past the Miami Dolphins.
A record crowd filled the Big Sombrero to witness the Buccaneers' new colors, new popularity, and new success. Intrastate rival Miami received a lethal dose of the Bucks' newfound excitement supplied by Warwick Dunn, number 28.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Warwick Dunn has got it! 58 yards! Screen pass on 3rd and impossible! And Dunn goes 58 yards!
The Dolphins were cooked with Dan Marino out of sync most of the night. On the other hand, Trent Dilfer, now the league's leading passer, threw a personal best 4 touchdown passes.
Deep toast downfield, and it's caught! Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
Thanks to pewter power, the Bucks are 4-0 for the first time in 18 years.
Hey, we got the Chargers today. We're going to pull their plug.
We're gonna blow their fuse. We're gonna short them out.
On 3.
Ready? Break!
Cloudy day here in the dome. No forecast, no thunderstorms.
Sunday's forecast was grim for a pair of teams struggling to reach 500. Then a bolt of lightning struck early for the Chargers.
Looking, fires, intercepted! Rodney Harrison streaking down the sideline to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. He scores! Rodney Harrison goes 75 yards with the pick.
But the blue and silver showed some defense of their own when Darrell Williams picked off 3 passes.
Oh, it's intercepted again. Darrell Williams, hat trick, 3rd pick of the day.
Williams' 3 picks set the tone for a 4th quarter comeback.
Man, they give one chance. Take care of the opportunity. That's right, baby. Nice little gift. Now, look, there's more out there. There's more out there. I'm telling you. Keep your focus.
Gotta have it. Warren Moon, 5-step drop to throw. Looking long, going, got Galloway open. Caught it! Touchdown, Seattle. 53-yard strike down the sideline.
That's the way to make a big play when we need it, baby.
But Seattle would need one more key play. With just over a minute remaining, Steve Broussard's end zone leap put the game out of reach.
We got this one in the play.
While Dennis Erickson earned a much-needed win, fellow coaches Lindy Infante and Marv Levy headed squads with only a single victory between them. Levy's Bills faced an anemic Colts team that had yet to score a touchdown this season. Their drought ended early in the 1st quarter.
Goes to the end zone, touchdown! The Colts have scored! Aaron Bailey breaks the jinx! The Colts are up 6-0.
8 minutes later, Indianapolis had another when Marshall Faulk followed textbook blocking, then used his head to reach the end zone. On the other side of the ball, the Bills' young quarterback Todd Collins was having a miserable first half.
Back to pass goes Todd Collins. And Collins is sacked, and he fumbles the ball again, and it's still loose, and the Colts pick it up at the 20.
Is this some kind of an NFL record? Last 3 touches for Todd Collins, he coughs it up.
I can't believe they're not going to maybe bring Billy Joe Holbert into this game.
Confidence has got to be shot.
But Collins led an historic comeback. Down by 26, the Bills' rally was paced by sensational rookie Antoine Smith.
10 at the 5, keeps driving, touchdown.
And this one's beginning to slip away. You just don't like the smell of this one at all.
The smell quickly got worse.
Antoine bangs in for the touchdown. What a remarkable comeback. They're going to hand it off on a run to the left side, and breaking through there into the clear. And there goes Antoine Smith to the 20, the 10, the 5, and in for the touchdown. He has put it away with a brilliant run by the big horse from Houston. Antoine Smith has put it away for the Bills.
Buffalo's victory seemed doubly assured when Colt quarterback Jim Harbaugh was hurt. Paul Justin, his replacement, attempted to tie the game.
Rolls to the right side, throws to the end zone, touchdown, Marvin Harrison! It's a touchdown for Marvin Harrison. Now the Colts need the 2-point conversion. It's 37-35, Buffalo.
Here we go for the 2-point conversion to tie. Dropping back, looking, he throws, and it's incomplete. It is incomplete, and the Bills are going to win it.
No flag. The Colts arguing that there should be one. Paul Justin right in the official's face.
Justin is really furious, and now he's being restrained, and he's still menacing the official there as they haul him away.
When the smoke cleared, the Bills could be thankful they prevailed in the 3rd greatest comeback in league history.
Packers trying for the go-ahead score. Starr begins the count. Takes the snap. He has the quarterback back. The Green Bay Packers are going to be world champions, NFL champions for the 3rd straight year.
Believe it or not, there's still a major controversy about that 1967 Ice Bowl game, and we'll have more on that in just a minute. Joining us now on the program, our own Gary Myers. And Gary, earlier Mike Holmgren said that he didn't expect to be here possibly past this contract. What's going on with that?
Well, Chris, I think that Mike is just keeping his options open. One thing that he really finds very appealing is to have a situation where he has the final say, where he's the coach and general manager. He says this is the best coaching job in the league. He wouldn't leave here just to take another coaching job. But if he has an opportunity where he has final say, he says that's like running and owning your own business. He gets along great with general manager Ron Wolf, but last year Wolf signed an extension which carries him through 2002. When Holmgren's contract is up after 99, if he has an opportunity to run the whole show somewhere else, I think he might find that very appealing.
You know, last year he had the advantage of having both Dorsey Levens and Edgar Bennett. Of course, Edgar Bennett injured now, and it's just Dorsey Levens.
Right, and as soon as Bennett was hurt in that first preseason game, the Packers got a lot of phone calls from teams, trying to make a trade, offering them running backs. But they felt they had a lot of faith in Levens. There was no need to bring in somebody else to share the load with them. I mean, they are somewhat concerned about whether he can stand up to the punishment from a full season. He already has 82 carries, which is about half as many as he had in his first 3 seasons combined. No question the Levens-Bennett combination really helped the Packers get to the Super Bowl last year.
I know you had a chance to visit some of the Packers in the locker room today. What did you learn?
Well, Leroy Butler, the Packers safety, always has a really good handle on what's going on around the team. He says right now he thinks the team lacks the killer instinct that it had all of last season, that they're not being as aggressive, that they're almost scared to make plays. And he said, part of the attitude is, they won the Super Bowl, they exhaled, they say, okay, what do we do now? I said, is that complacency somewhat? He goes, no, it's really kind of being lazy, and he is concerned about how the team will react to pressure situations the rest of the year.
There will be a pressure situation this weekend. Dan Reeves going against John Elway for the first time since their separation.
That's right, and this week both of them have been politically correct. Nobody is saying anything bad about the other. But the summer after Reeves was fired in Denver, Elway expressed a lot of unhappiness of his last few years playing for Reeves. To this day, Reeves still doesn't understand what Elway is complaining about. It really bothers him. And even this summer, Elway was telling me at training camp how it's very hard for a quarterback to succeed in Dan Reeves' system. You have to remember one thing here, Chris. Together, they went to 3 Super Bowls. Since Reeves has left Denver, Elway has not won a playoff game. And when he was with the Giants, Reeves just won 1.
All right, Gary, thanks. We'll see you in New York next week.
Okay, Chris.
On this show, we always like to give credit wherever credit is due. And right now, it is time to revisit one of the most famous plays in NFL history, because someone is due a little more credit.
Center Ken Bowman played 12 hard-nosed seasons for the Green Bay Packers during their glory years. His name isn't mentioned in the same breath as Bart Starr or Paul Hornung or Jerry Kramer, but perhaps it should be, because Bowman was an integral part of a play that immortalized the Green Bay Packers. The 1967 NFC Championship game against Dallas.
The Ice Bowl. What had happened really was Jerry Kramer came off the ball. He hit Pugh and stood him up and then slid off to the side of him. I came off the ball and I got his rib cage, and that's why in most of the film that you see, you can't even see me.
I'm sure he would love to get some credit, and maybe someday he will, but he's not going to get a whole lot from me. You know, I love Bo, but I don't really feel that in my heart that Bo made that block. I feel like I made that block.
But for Bowman, it's a play that's frozen in his memory.
There's one angle from the opposite side of the press box, and you can really see it in that angle that Jerry hit him and stood him up. But I'm up underneath Jethro so much and pushing him back into the end zone. You know, it was a double team.
What disturbs Bowman was why his fellow teammate Jerry Kramer took all the credit for the play.
After the game, as we're sitting there in the locker room, and Jerry was on his way up to the podium to take all the accolades, he passed my chair.
And Bo says, "Tell him about me, Jerry. Tell him about me." I said, "You tell him about you. You got another 10 years to play. This is my moment. You tell him about you."
And I've often remarked that I was so young and dumb that I really believed him, and I let him go up there and take all the bows. And it wasn't until years later that I realized that, you know, that a play like that comes along once in a lifetime.
Bowman played another 8 seasons for the Packers. He never played in another championship game and never again made a play that meant so much.
The court appoints Mr. Bowman from the Public Defender's Office to represent the defendant, Mr. Bourbois, in this matter.
Your Honor, on behalf of the defendant, I would ask the court
While he never stood up for himself back in '67, today Bowman, a public defender in Tucson, Arizona, helps other people fight their battles.
Many people say that public defenders and public defender's office represents the throwaways. I mean, the people in our society who haven't made it, who are homeless, who are indigent. If I can find a young man that I can straighten around and get him headed on the right path, I think that's a great satisfaction.
Bowman's greatest passion is spending quality time in Tucson's breathtaking surroundings with his wife of 14 years, Roseanne.
365 days of just beautiful, beautiful weather. It does give you the opportunity to get into settings like this and the opportunity to go out hiking in the mountains and get in touch with nature. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Ken Bowman never had the opportunity to embrace the play of a lifetime. Today, he's embracing a lifetime of great moments. He has certainly amassed many more important rewards.
After all these years, we have a controversy. Was it A Block or the Blocks? HBO talked to a man who should know, Jethro Pugh, the defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. His response? It was a double team.
30 years later, there's a controversy, all because Jerry Kramer, the offensive guard, took all the credit. He wrote books, made an awful lot of money. Ken Bowman, the guy who made the block with him, no recognition at all.
Well, you get no recognition, no respect in the pick segment unless you do well. Let's see how we did last week.
And you did.
We all did very well.
Way to go,
for the
Lenny.
week. Yes, that's 2 weeks in a row we've all done well. How about for the season? Very close, ladies and gentlemen. All right, earlier in the show, we picked several games. Now it's time to pick the rest. New Orleans travels to the Meadowlands, but we like the Giants to beat the Saints. We all agree that Baltimore will win their third road game in a row, this time defeating San Diego. Denver will go 5-0 as they beat Atlanta and their new head coach, who used to be the coach of Denver, Dan Reed. Tennessee travels to Pittsburgh. We all like the Steelers. Chicago is having all kinds of problems scoring points, so we like Dallas to win. St. Louis is playing very good defense, but we all agree that the Raiders will get back on track. And now for the rest of the games in more detail. Nick, we got Arizona at Tampa Bay.
Hey, listen, as Tampa Bay's running game goes, so goes Trent Dilfer. With Mike Allstott, the Bull, and Warwick Dunn, the Flea, Arizona's fine defense is going to be put on its heels, and Tampa Bay's going to win.
A new name.
Hey, we all know that Tampa Bay can run the football. But guess what? Tampa Bay's #1 in defense stopping the run. And the reason? Their strong safety, John Lynch. He may be the best, building the 8-man front and pounding the enemy. I'm going with Tampa Bay.
This is a prime week for a letdown if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after the big win against the Miami Dolphins. But Tony Dungy seems to have these guys hypnotized. I like Tampa as well.
It'll be a letdown because Warren Sapp, playing as well as any defensive lineman in the league, is coming back this week. Kent Graham had 4 passes knocked down last week, maybe 5 this week. I like Tampa Bay. All right, we got Philadelphia at Minnesota.
Let me tell you about Philadelphia.
Tell me about Philadelphia.
They come off this San Francisco deal. We're going to make a script. We're going to have 15 plays. Everybody knows what we're doing. We're going to win the game. I'm so sick of hearing that. They haven't scored a touchdown in the first half. And you know what's going to happen? That script's going to get stuffed down. They're going to get beat again.
We need to give him a script. But Robert Smith right now is really getting it going for the Minnesota Vikings. Great balance on the offensive side, doing a better job on the run on the defensive side. I like the Vikings.
Hey, look at Ricky Waters is having about as good a year as he's ever had. And Chris T. Jones, he's coming back into that Philadelphia lineup. But guess what? Ray Rhodes has a problem at quarterback. Ty Detmer will come up short, and so won't Philly.
Let's talk about the quarterback for Minnesota. Brad Johnson last week, nearly perfect in the second half. He was 13 of 16, 3 touchdowns. I like Minnesota. We've got Seattle at Kansas City.
Suck-up time.
Suck-up time.
This is sad. This will be
pitiful. I want to hear this.
Their offensive line was unbelievable last week.
Kansas City, we're talking about.
Elvis Gerback was unbelievable
That's
last week. Their pressure defense was unbelievable.
That's
He's humble.
Marty Schottenheimer is Coach of the Year so far.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the bad news. I'm picking Kansas City. You guys have no chance.
Well, Kansas City is Elvis Gerback to Ted Popson, the former teammate that I had at the 49ers. Now, if we can just get Brett Perriman involved, then that Kansas City offense will be complete. I think he will this week. I like KC.
Hey, Nick, but let's not forget Warren Moon. Warren Moon, 40 years old, playing fantastic, playing as good as he did when he played for me, made me look like a good coach. But one thing he could never do was beat the zone blitz. Kansas City right now is running zone blitz better than anybody in football. For that reason, I'm going with Kansas City.
And the reason they're running it so well is their young linebackers. They have tremendous speed, and they're improving each and every week. Terry Wooden, Anthony Davis, Donnie Edwards doing outstanding jobs. Well, that's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. And this is Cheese Country, ladies and gentlemen. And Jerry, since the last time you were here, they ran you out of the stadium. Somebody gave you this cheese thing for you to take home. That's very nice.
Well, I'd split it with you and Nick, but I'm taking the whole thing.
I know, you're always
a big cheese.
He is a big cheese. Maybe that's what they meant.
That was
give
it.
that to you. Folks, for Nick, Jerry, Chris, I'm Len Dawson saying thanks for being with us right here in Titletown, USA. Next week, we're back in our New York studio. The show the pros watch, Inside the NFL.
Come on, girl. How about those Packers? Come on. I think they're going to do pretty good this year.
Celebrating 25 years